Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2018 November kits to attempt to make a holiday layout. And I'm going to start with this paper. I haven't used it yet. It's got those really pretty yellowish green flowers on it. It's a Heidi Swap paper, and then I pulled out all the other papers from the kits that had green on them. And I'm going to be honest, dark green is not my favorite color. I find it hard to work with for me. I think it's a pretty color, but it's for scrapbooking, it's hard for me to use. I don't know if it's because it's dark and I tend to go for bright colors, but I just went through and pulled out everything that was green and thought, I'll see what inspires me and see what road this layout is going to go down. So I decided that I'm going to paint some of these flowers, and right now I'm in my mind they're going to look Christmassy. Okay, this layout is kind of strange, and by that I mean the way I put it together and things that happen and the way it turns out. I like it, but you'll see what I'm talking about as we go along here. So in order for me to add a lot of liquid and paint to these flowers, I added some gesso first, some clear gesso, because if I start painting with a lot of water on this, thin sheet of pattern paper, it's going to start to ball up and tear, and I didn't want that. And I didn't want to white out any of the shading of the flowers already, so I just used clear gesso. And I'm just using some of the shimmers that we got. Let's see, this color we got this month. It's called Good Old Summertime, and it's a really pretty pinkish reddish color. And then I'm also going to dab in a little bit of Spritz Ruby, which we got several months ago in a color kit. And I'm just kind of dabbing the paint on here. I'm not trying to be super neat. I'm not using a fancy expensive brush. I've never even purchased an expensive brush. This is a brush I use quite frequently. It came in, I think, a 3 or 4 pack from Michael's a few years ago. It was maybe $12 for 3 brushes. I don't even know what size it is or what brand it is. I'll have to look at the package, but it's nothing special. And I'm using water. I'm using my fingers. I just want to get color down, and I'm trying to, get darker shades sort of in the folds of the flower to make it a little dimensional and to give it some depth. But definitely nothing special here. Anybody could do this. I'm just painting by number, I guess you could say. Now this color we got last month, it's a shimmers called Sunflower, and it is this really pretty shimmery golden yellow. And I'm just kind of adding that in. And when you mix that with pink, you get a really pretty peachy orangey color. And so I just mainly used colors that when they blended together, they would make another pretty color. So that's all I'm doing here. It took me a little bit of time to do this. And then I pulled some greens from my stash. So these are not from a color kit, but I wanted green leaves. And so I just sprayed a couple of shimmers there that I have in my stash. And then I'm going to go to fussy cutting. And so I sped this up quite a bit because fussy cutting is boring if you're just watching it. But if you're doing it, it's kind of therapeutic. And so here's what I've got. You can see how shimmery that is. The shimmers really are shimmery. They're so pretty. And I'm going to use this picture. It is a Christmas picture of my daughter from a few years ago. She had those little antler things on her head for all of about 30 seconds, long enough for me to take some pictures. And then she was like, get these things off me. So yeah, okay. Here's where the layout starts to get weird. But a lot of things I do are weird, and it always turns out in the end, I think. And so you can be the judge of it, but don't give up on this video until you see how it turns out. Now, this paper kind of is like an optical illusion for my eyeballs. So the thought that I had was I'm going to make this as Christmassy as possible using non-traditional colors because I don't really have any red. I thought pinks and greens and golds would still be pretty Christmas colors. So I thought I would make some strips in the background behind these flowers. And so I just cut this paper up and then ruffled up the edges a little bit with my distress tool there. And I tried that and thought it looked horrible. I was like, whoa, no, that's just way too many stripes. So then I thought, let's just tear them up into strips and glue them down to the background that way and make them look kind of jagged and uneven and torn. and make a background that way. And yeah, this is a case of my brain having the finished product in my head, and then when I actually go to do it, it looks awful. So yeah, this is the next phase of what is she thinking? We will find out. Sorry about my lighting there. It got really, really bright. So yeah, no, still not going to work. But I keep going. I keep adding torn strips of this striped paper. Yep, don't like it. No. So what do? Grab the white gesso that's almost empty, and I'm going to cover a lot of this up. And I thought, well, if I soften up the stripes, maybe it will look better. So that's what I'm doing here. And the background is some of the textured white cardstock that we got in the color kit. Okay. Yeah, nope, I didn't like it. So what do? I decide to tear up the paper. And when I did this, it ripped and tore, and it left basically this interesting looking stuff on the background. And I thought, I kind of think that looks interesting. What if I just added some shimmers on top of it and see what happens? So that's what I did. I was on the verge of chunking it. I almost flipped it over and just used the back. But then I thought, what if I just add some shimmer sprays that we've all got in color kits? I've got Spritz Ruby and Spritz Cotton Candy right there, and see if it changes the look of things. And I actually really liked it. I thought it gave the background some interesting texture, and it just made a very random looking background, and I think it's going to look better as we go on. I'm adding back in some of that sunflower, and then I'm putting some on there, spritzing it with water, because I do have a lot of gesso already on there. I did not go back over this with gesso after I tore off the stripes, but yeah, this turns out interesting. And it doesn't even, yeah, don't forget, this is supposed to be a Christmas layout or a holiday layout. So I'm still hoping that that's going to happen. So when I put this back on top of it, I thought that looks kind of neat. I like it. It's different. Just go with it. And so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so just because you glue down paper, it doesn't mean you can't rip it up. Now, it's obviously going to rip and tear, but you may get a cool looking, interesting background like this in the process. What else am I using? I'm using some of the Pop Art Pink that we got last month, in addition to those other pinks I mentioned earlier. This is the Minor 49er. That is the really pretty metallic gold that we got, I believe, in August. I always say that the color kits are awesome to get if you like doing mixed media, because once you get them for a couple months, you're going to have quite a set of paints to use. Look at this. Okay. It's different. It's different. I know. We're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. But the more you order the color kits, the bigger selection of colors that you have. And I can tell you for sure that from month to month, I pull out colors from previous months all the time, because they always go with the next kit. I can attest to that. So you're not just going to use that specific color that month only. I guarantee you it's going to coordinate with the stuff that you're going to continue to get. And it's awesome, because then you wind up having this vast array of colors that are going to match other things that you get. Okay, so now I'm going to start to build the layout here. I'm going to kind of put the picture and the flowers kind of not dead center, but a little bit over to the right, to where you can see some of that sketchy background kind of peeking on the left and then down underneath the picture. And I wanted a little bit of a darker pop of pink right there underneath the picture on the left, so I added in some thread. And I'm really liking how this is looking. Still not Christmassy yet. I'm trying. We're getting there. But yeah, these kits, I found it very challenging to make a Christmas page. I don't know why. For me, nothing was jumping out at me. I couldn't get an idea flowing. So I just started with the flowers and hoped that they would kind of look Christmassy, and I don't know. Still on the fence about that. But I do like the way that those leaves overlapped the photo. It's not covering up the antlers on her head or her face or anything like that. And I really love it when it works out like that, where you can tuck the photo underneath something, or you can layer something on top of the photo like that. So here's me going through things. I went through the Heidi Swap stickers, I went through the puffy stickers, and there was a lot of things that I wanted to use on there, but they were just the wrong color for this because I don't have any blue on this at this point. I did want to use one of these big gold thickers for my title, and I was definitely going to make the title Christmassy, and so I thought I would start with Happy since she was laughing and giggling in this photo, and the gold goes really, really well because I've got lots of gold tones going on. And then I decided to go into the embellishments, and I found these acetate leaves, and I almost didn't use them because they are totally different green than the leaves that I painted. They're more of an aqua compared to that Kelly green color. But the more I put them in there and played around with them, the more I liked it. Gave it a different color or another color variation on the green. And I'm going to keep Happy right where it is. Still not Christmassy. We're still working on the Christmas part. I don't know why this was such a challenge for me, but it really was. Sometimes layouts just flow and they come so easy. They still take me a while to do, but the idea comes easily. And then sometimes I feel like I've never done this before in my life and nothing is working. I am going to add in a couple more of the acetate leaves. I have 2 pink ones left, and they match really nicely, so I'm going to use those. Kimberly did a fantastic job on designing those acetate leaves. They're really, really beautiful, and I still have some left over. I tried to use them. I think I used some on just about every page I made this month, but I tried not to use all of them because I want to have them in my stash for forever so I can just keep using them. Now, I'm going to continue with the title here, and I'm going to go with these little pink alphas here. And I was just going to make the word holidays and just be, happy holidays, but I had already used up all of the Y's. So I just changed the title to Happy for Christmas because she was happy and it was almost Christmas and I had all the letters. So that's the title. Very boring, I know, but at least it has the word Christmas in it. And then I'm going to use a couple of these black clear stickers. What do they say? Enjoy today, I love you, good times. And I felt like that little pops of black was okay because my photo was black and white. And that one says yay. And then I'm going to use a couple of these exclusive wood veneer gold foiled leaves. Just because I needed more leaves because, you can't have too many leaves. And here, by the magic of cut files that I totally didn't even think to check, I'm going to add in some vellum trees. Now, this is an afterthought. I did this at the very end, and if I would have used my brain, I would have incorporated a tree in this layout first, but this is me trying to add a little Christmas something to this layout. So I cut, this is the very first day of the free 12 Days of Giving cut files. It's a little Christmas tree. So I just cut four of them in small size in on some vellum, and I'm just going to tuck them in, and they are going to work. And they're very subtle, but you can still see them. They're not overpowering. And this is the most non-traditional Christmas page you will ever see. But hey, when do I ever do anything traditional? Yeah, I don't. I tried, but this is as Christmassy as this is going to get for this layout. And I hope that's okay. I hope it still inspires you to think outside the box. You don't always have to go with just red and green. You can use whatever colors you want. And I did use a puffy sticker. There you can see it. I forgot I put that one in there. But yeah, this is a good example of how your background you think is pretty really isn't. And so you just rip it up and it turns into something really cool, because I think this background turned out really neat. That's my favorite part of this layout. Even though it's just ripped and torn paper with some paint on top of it. I still like the way it looks. Anyway, I hope you guys bared with me through this, and I hope this gives you some ideas to at least try and to salvage those layouts that you don't really like in the beginning. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.